Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another brand new video on my YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a great day as always. And in today's video, we are going to be comparing Android Auto running natively on your phone versus Android Auto running from your phone to your infotainment system and seeing if there is any difference in the experience that you receive from those two. And the reason why I really thought of doing this experiment or comparison is because of the fact that I decided that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay have become way too important for us nowadays, and I would say a lot of people, including myself, would consider as Android Auto or Apple CarPlay not being available on a car as a deal breaker. Toyota, you better get Android Auto on your cars soon, because you're gonna lose sales, I'm telling you. So because of that, I'm going to assume that even someone who's on a really tight budget, someone who has a used old car, maybe an old Honda Civic for example, would still want to experience Android Auto, and a lot of people, they do. I mean, you have to have some sort of navigator on your car, and instead of going out and shelling about $200 on a GPS system that's just meant for GPS or navigation, a lot of people would resort to just buying something like a car mount for their car and then just, you know, hooking their phone up onto it and using Android Auto on their phone. And that's great. In fact, that's awesome that Google has even allowed people to use Android Auto natively on their phone without having to rely on their infotainment system. So let's see if, you know, there is a difference. But how do I do that? Well, I need a car holder or a car mount myself, right? So I have a car mount. It's actually by a company called Kotech or Chotech, however you want to pronounce it, but this is the product. There you go. I'm gonna do a quick unboxing. I don't think it's exciting enough for me to do like an overhead shot of it, so I'm just gonna quickly open it up. Okay, so I think we got like a magnet. We got the actual unit. Oh, and we got the, you know, other magnet that, you know, stays on the unit. Alright, we got some paperwork. We don't need any of that, so let's go ahead and fix this up. Okay, so setting this thing up was really simple. All you had to really do was, you know, get the screw in first. So the screw goes inside first, then you pretty much just clip the magnetic part onto it. You know, this part that comes out, you just push it in together, so like that, and then you just pretty much have to screw in the screw to the magnetic part, if that makes sense. It's really simple, and yeah. So before we get into the car, we got one more thing. Okay, so we have two magnets. So what they're asking us to do is pretty much place the magnet on our phone and then stick it onto this, right? Whoa, it actually worked. Whoa, did it? Yep, it actually did work. So all I had to do was essentially take off the plastic, kind of like I just did right now. And once you take off the plastic, you just place the magnet in between it, and then you just close the plastic and clip it on together, and it works. So let's go ahead into the car and see how Android Auto performs. So let's begin. Okay, so I'm in the passenger seat right now, and as you can see, I've, you know, placed the phone with the car mount on the windshield, right? Everything's fine. I can even tilt it, which I'll talk about later. So what I'm gonna do is, while Android Auto is running through my phone natively, I'm also gonna use another phone and run Android Auto on the infotainment system. Then I'm gonna get into the driver's seat and I'm gonna simulate the kind of functions that someone would regularly use on Android Auto and see how they both react and what kind of results we get. And then we'll see which one's better for you to use. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, so I just got into the car and I'm in the driver's seat, so I'm gonna do it exactly as if someone would be doing it on a day-to-day basis. So let's fire up the car, and I have two phones. So one, my dad's phone, it's going to be connected to the infotainment system, and my phone, I'm personally going to connect it onto the car mount and launch up the Android Auto app. Okay, so there we go. We have my dad's Android Auto running from his phone, which is LG G5, onto the infotainment system. This is a Mazda infotainment system, by the way. And then we have my phone right here, which is running the Android Auto application. And yeah, okay, so we're gonna do a few tasks and see how they work, because how else would I do the experiment? So let's start off with something that, you know, would be the most common question asked when you're in the car, and that is directions. Let's try to get directions to Pizza Hut. Okay. Hey Google, directions to the closest Pizza Hut.
Pizza is 7 minutes from your location by car in moderate traffic.
Okay, so it's kind of a pass but kind of a fail. They both gave me the location to the nearest pizza, not Pizza Hut. But it kind of makes sense because here in Canada, Pizza Hut is not as popular as Pizza. So I would say it's a pass, but just to confirm it, let's try one more place and see how it goes. Hey Google, give me directions to the closest Walmart.
Walmart Brampton and Supercenter is 9 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
Okay, so they're both showing me pretty much the same information. However, as you can see the three routes on this. It's kind of better looking when you're looking at it from the infotainment system. It looks a lot better because it shows like the actual routes. On here, it was a little bit different, but it still gets the job done. Both of them are very, very functional and can be used daily. There's no issue whatsoever. So the next thing that we're gonna ask is the weather, because that's another common question that you would ask, especially when you're driving. So let's give it a shot. So I'm gonna go into the home whenever I'm doing another test. Hey Google, what is the weather?
Currently in Brampton, it's 2 degrees Celsius and mostly cloudy. Today, it will be mostly cloudy with a forecasted high of 3 and a low of -2.
Okay, so they both did amazingly well. They were slightly different in the way they said it, but it worked for the most part. So okay, so now let's do a Google search and see what happens, because it might not be every day that you want to ask Google and, you know, ask it some random question while you're driving, but every so often you want to know something cool, and a lot of the times it's something like changing the currency or things like that. So let's give it a currency question and see how it performs. So let's go. Hey Google, convert 1,000 US dollars into Canadian dollars.
1,000 United States dollars is approximately 1,338 Canadian dollars and 35 cents.
Okay, so that was weird because the phone worked perfectly fine and I got my answer, but the infotainment system didn't give me the answer. So I'm gonna ask that question one more time just from the infotainment system and see what happens. So I'm gonna trigger it through the button. What is 1,000 US dollars in Canadian dollars? That is strange. So I just get no result. There's no error message. It just ends the recognition and that's it. Let's try another Google search. Hey Google, who is the Prime Minister of Canada?
Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada.
That was weird. So now both of them did the Google search perfectly fine. So I don't know why I couldn't do that currency exchange. So let's try a calculation, like a simple mathematical question. So, hey Google, what's 1000 divided by 4 plus 20?
The answer is 270.
So both of them got that right. So I'm gonna go back to that currency question, just change it up a little bit and see if, it gets it right this time. Hey Google, convert 1,000 Canadian dollars into US dollars.
1,000 Canadian dollars is approximately 747 United States dollars and 19 cents.
Okay, so from Canadian to US, this guy worked. Let's try the US to Canadian one more time. Hey Google, convert 1,000 US dollars into Canadian dollars.
1,000 United States dollars is approximately 1,338 Canadian dollars and 35 cents.
Okay, so now we got it correct. But assuming, or let's just say if I was actually driving, I actually needed to know this for some business matter or whatever, and I seriously wanted to get that answer correct, the reliability of the infotainment system was horrible. I mean, it couldn't get it right. I mean, it couldn't understand for 2 times in a row until I, asked some other questions and came back to it. So I would say, reliability wise, the infotainment system is looking a little bad right now. Okay, so what other thing do you do when you're in your car, right? You play music, and let's go ask Google to help us play music. Okay, Google, play Apple Music.
Sure, asking Apple Music to play some music.
The phone just worked. Yep, the infotainment worked. So that means that Google Assistant can control Apple Music through voice controls, and that is awesome because if I'm not wrong, a few weeks ago or maybe even a few days ago, Apple Music was not supported by Google Assistant. It was only Google Play and Spotify that was supported. So now they support Apple Music too, so that's really dope. So I'm gonna try to play a specific song and see how it reacts. Hey Google, play Space Cadet featuring Gunna.
Sure, asking Apple Music to play Metro Boomin.
You can install Spotify to start listening.
Okay, something weird just happened. So my Google Assistant said that, Google Assistant can't support Apple Music at all. My infotainment system actually just started playing a random song. So I'm gonna give that one more shot. Hey Google, play Space Cadet on Apple Music.
Sure, asking Apple Music to play Space Cadet.
Both of them worked perfect. In fact, the infotainment system is slightly ahead by like a second or so. So, all you have to do is, if you don't have Google Play or even Spotify, just say, play the song on Apple Music, and it works perfectly fine, as you can see. So we asked it for the weather, we asked it to do some Google searches, we asked it to play a song, we asked for directions. We just want to do one more little thing, that's communication, so I can either do a text or a phone call, and then we can sum up this experiment. So let's give it a shot. Hey Google, call Domino's.
Calling Domino's on Willems Parkway in Brampton.
There you go. Both of them did the call. I'm gonna go end it. But it was able to do a successful Google search, pick up the number from the location, tell me the location, and dial the number. So it's a win-win. Both of them worked perfectly fine. Okay, so we've done pretty much everything. I don't have to do any more tests. And guys, something super cool about this car mount is you can actually like tilt it. So like this part can be moved around. So when I hook my phone onto it, I can just move it around and adjust it to however way I want to. And that's, I think, super convenient in my opinion. Okay, so let's go ahead and sum up this video. Well, first of all, this Android Auto application works perfect. So good job for you, Google. And also, this car mount is really awesome. So shout out to Kotek for sending it out to me for review. Definitely guys go check it out. Links are in the description to go buy it as well. And Mazda finally introduced Android Auto, and that works perfectly fine. Even though touch is not available on this specific implementation of Android Auto, it still is super functional and works awesome. I just hope they introduce touchscreen soon.
Northwest on Newbridge Crescent.
It's giving me directions. Okay, so I'm gonna sum up this video. It's already too long, guys. So my conclusion is, I would say they're pretty identical. I mean, it has to be, right? The infotainment system can think on its own. It's pretty much just replicating and acting as a screen for your Android Auto running from your phone, because right now it is connected through wire. So it's kind of the same thing. However, because now your phone has to work with the car's hardware, like the car's microphone, the car's screen, there is a little bit of a delay sometimes. So what I mean by that is, I think maybe the reason why it couldn't give me those currency answers the first time on the infotainment system were because it was just glitching out a little bit. It was not used to getting questions asked back to back. I don't know, but that's why I would say 10 out of 10 reliability on the phone. There was no whatsoever issue, but I would say 9 out of 10 for the infotainment system. But does that mean that there's a problem in using the infotainment system? Does that mean that you're missing out on anything? For the average Joe, I don't think so, but if you're asking questions back to back and you're super bored and you just want to talk to the Google Assistant, I mean, in terms of feedback speed, I would say the phone is slightly ahead sometimes, at least. I don't know, but I would say you're not missing out whether you have a new Honda Civic that has the infotainment system with Android Auto, or if you have a super old car that doesn't even have a dashboard. Is that possible? I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is you're not missing out either way, so don't make Android Auto a deal breaker if you are looking to buy a car. I would say that I consider it as a deal breaker, but I don't think you should. Anyways, this is Tech Alpha signing out with today's video. Hope you guys really did enjoy it. If you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and also turn on post notifications to be notified whenever I release future videos. And with that being said, I'm signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Peace.